Hello, welcome to Clone Plays. In today's video, we'll see two factions collide over resources from a bygone era. Now roll that intro. So let's look at these different factions. In this MOC, we have the Imperial forces on the left side and the Rebel Alliance on the right side. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this MOC, however I do have a few complaints, and unfortunately this is the final product of this MOC. As you can probably tell, there's a few things missing. There's a lot missing on the archway there, right there. There's an entire archway missing, and there's a few tiles on the floor that should be there but are not. That is because this MOC is about 90% to 89% complete, and I am not able to finish the rest of it. So this is the final product, which I'm still happy with, and gives me enough motivation to see this video through and move on to a new MOC that will hopefully be 100% complete. In this video, we'll take a complete look and detailed look at the different vehicles, and then we'll look at the MOC without the vehicles inside of it, so we can take a better look at where all the minifigures are placed and the details on the walls and on the floor. And then we will talk about the story of what this MOC is based on. The first vehicle in the MOC I like to show is the Saber Tank from the official Lego set that Lego made a few years back. I really like it, so much so that I actually bought 3 of these sets because I really like it. I like the clone trooper that came in it, and I like that it came with Ayla Secura, which was the only one that I was actually able to buy for a long time. My only complaints with this is that the interior, for where the driver and the gunner are supposed to sit, only fits one minifigure. But minus that complaint, I really like it. Not sure if these cannons are supposed to be able to move up and down, but I took the liberty of just having them move up and down. So in the MOC, you can see that the driver / gunner guy is pointing at the ATST that's shown in the MOC. The next 2 vehicles I like to show off are the ATRTs used by the Rebel Alliance in this MOC. The one on the left is a custom creation by myself, where I looked at an image off of the Wikipedia page for Star Wars and tried my best to replicate it. The only difference between this and the old tutorial that I made a long time ago is there's this backpack from one of the Rebel troopers who decided to hang it there because there's nowhere else to hang it really on this. And that's everything for that one. This one, on the other hand, is a modified version of a tutorial ATRT that I found on YouTube from a fellow Lego creator. Link in the description to his video for his version of it. I did modify it where I beefed up this part of the legs. I also added these to add the antennas onto it, and I've changed this part where the driver sits so it's a little bit more sturdy. So I like it, and I can actually like do that with it. The 4th vehicle in this set is a utility vehicle used by the Imperial forces to try and transport crates out of the MOC. It's very unstable. I was barely able to get this to stand up straight. So it's actually attached down by 2 studs over there that you can see by that stormtrooper. And that's the only way that I was able to get it to stand upright. Else it just does this. And it would look like that in the MOC, which does not look great. So that is the whole point of it. You can move this up and down, however it's not automated, so you have to push it. So it would look good if this was stop animation, however else it does not look great. And it's very top heavy, as you can see, but it does work, it does its job, and it's alright. I could redesign it. I probably will in future MOCs if I ever need another utility vehicle like this, but this is what I just came up with to fill in some space. Otherwise it was going to look very open and very plain, and there'd be no cover for any of the people to stand behind and not take any shots to the head or anything like that. So it does its job, and I'm very happy with it. And the last vehicle is my modified ATST. This ATST is inspired and modeled after the ATST Mark III from the mobile Star Wars game called Star Wars Commander. This has many differences between that one though. First one being the color. This one's in light gray, and the one from the game is dark gray. This one would have been in dark gray, however I do not have all these pieces in dark gray, so it's in light gray. Another difference is these cannons can rotate, whereas I'm not sure if the one from the game can. And another difference is that this can only hold one minifigure in it, whereas the official one can hold two. And that is because this is a modified version of the Lego set that came out back in 2016 for Rogue One. The major differences between this one and that official set, again, are the cannons. And the only other thing I really changed are the feet, using more Technic pieces, or I guess other Technic pieces rather than the ones that came in the set, like this, so that I can have the legs actually move and bend, so I can shape it so it looks like it's moving. And then the minor differences is I just changed up the faceplate here so it covers up more of the exposed studs that Lego left showing. This works alright, however it took me several minutes to try and get this thing to stand up straight without falling. And it was all because it needed to be on this side of this base plate rather than the smooth side like the other vehicles were shown on. Otherwise, it would faceplant every single time. And if this thing faceplants, it usually breaks into a million pieces, so that's not good. But it is very good. I really love it. So much so that it inspired me to open up my other ATST Lego set and make that one. So eventually I might have two ATSTs in a single MOC. Depends on how big I make the next MOC or future MOCs. So I would recommend making your own version of this. However, do a better job with the feet, because that's where all the weight goes, and where the weight goes is where if it can be stable or not. This is stable about 50% of the time, but besides that, it's really great. I really love it. As stated before, this is a MOC based on two factions fighting over resources. Those two factions are the Empire and the Rebel Alliance, and they are fighting over a Clone Wars era base that housed saber tanks and a couple of ATRTs and a few other supplies. The Rebel Alliance had gained intelligence about this base and tried to infiltrate it and steal the resources. However, they did not learn from that intelligence that the Empire had already sent a group of stormtroopers and a few others to obtain those resources as well. So when the Rebel Alliance was trying to steal, a stormtrooper found them, alerted the rest of his squad, and the whole detachment of stormtroopers plus their modified ATST arrived and began attacking them. This is what the MOC looks like without the vehicles inside of it, and now let's look at some details that I've scattered throughout the rest of it. In this corner we have a few rebels that are hiding behind some crates, and there's also some clone helmets, specifically a shock trooper, a clone pilot, and a scout trooper helmet. And there's a few blasters being held together on the wall, so in the past clone troopers could have snagged them and ran out the door to help fight against the battle droids. Right here we have a stormtrooper coming through a door. I was gonna eventually try to make them be able to move on their own, but I never got that far. As you can also see, there's some gribbling on the walls where I tried to add some detail and depth to them. It works alright. However, right here you can see there's some bricks missing in the walls. That's from me trying to make these walls super collapsible after this MOC was built. And that's the technique that I'm going to try and do in all my MOCs to make it easier on my side, so that when I'm building these things, when it's time to then destroy them, it's super easy, but they're still strong enough to hold everything together. Right here we have a couple of what could be presumed as like power generators and stuff like that. And then there's the crate that crane utility vehicle that I showed off earlier was moving around, and right now I'm not really sure what specifically this character is supposed to be, but basically like one of those that came from the Row 1 sets. She is help moving this crate around. Over here we have the driver for that utility vehicle. So far he's the only one who's died on the Imperial side, which is unfortunate, but he probably won't be the last. Right here we have another one of those doors. Let me zoom out again. We have another one of those doors, and it just uses friction to hold the door in place. So it's super tight at the bottom and super loose at the top because of the spacing of the doors. The spacing of the walls slowly separate as they go up, which is something I could have fixed if I had more of these bricks. The last detail I'd like to show off is just this antenna thing I added, just so there's something on this side. Then there's like this wrench holder for the ATRTs that were placed here. And then right here we also have just some random things. I'll pick that up later. But that's basically what the whole base, the whole MOC looks like. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any comments and suggestions for future ones, please leave it down in the comments. And I'll have all the links and all the descriptions in the description below. So yeah, thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day. Bye.